This lesson that we're going to go over right here is probably the one aha moment that we get the most from our clinics and the things that people are like, oh, that makes so much sense, and now I started to do that and I'm seeing a huge difference in my match play situations in singles. So I think this is really important for you to kind of think about in a match play situation, as well as you need to go out and practice this module right here as well. So we're going to talk about 10-5-1, meaning 10 foot over the net, this type of ball, compared to a 5 foot over the net, compared to a 1 foot over the net, which is around there. So if you want more information about how to actually hit the different heights, the 10 foot, the 5 foot, the 1 foot, Ian did a module that is called Topspin Formula, and it actually tells you about racket head and where the racket face is compared to the swing path and how to actually create those 3 different types of balls, because that's super, super important for understanding how to use them in different situations, which is what we're going to talk about here right now. So if you haven't checked that part out, go do that now and then come back to this spot right here. But now we're going to talk about, when do you hit a 10 foot ball? When do you hit a 5 foot ball? When do you hit a 1 foot ball? And why would you want to hit those types of balls from those certain positionings on the court? So a 10 foot ball is up really high in the air, obviously, because it gives you the most margin over the net, right? So I'm looking at hitting the highest ball that I can to give myself a lot of extra time. That's going to be key when I'm in a defensive position, meaning I'm off the court, meaning I'm way pushed back, meaning Kevin hits the ball really hard at me and I'm just trying to survive. All of those are good scenarios for when you would be feeling in a defensive mode and need some extra time to be able to recover. Because you can imagine if I'm standing off the court and I'm hit from this position, a 1 foot ball, that is going to get over to Kevin quickly and is going to give me hardly any time to really get back and get in position for the next ball. So if I'm over here and I hit a nice lofty 10 foot ball, I have a lot more time to be able to recover and get myself back in the point from being in that defensive position. And the same thing goes for, again, like when you're pushed way off the court backwards or just really coming at you from a pressure situation, or they hit the ball and it's really deep or heavy and you just feel like you're off balance and not in position. Now, let's talk about from a neutral position. So if I'm standing behind the baseline or around the baseline and I'm trying to hit a rally ball situation, I'm probably going to hit around a 5 foot ball. That's going to give me a good amount of space over the net, so I'm not going to make a lot of errors. I'm going to be able to hit good topspin to bring the ball back into the court. There's going to be a lot of advantageous situations that's going to help you, to be able to hit that 5 foot ball from this position. Okay, if I'm hitting a 1 foot ball, not only does it give me a very, very low margin over the net, but I'm not able to really get the depth on the ball that I'm needing from behind the baseline. That 5 foot ball is going to give me a lot more opportunities and options to do that. That's called the rally ball, and the biggest situation is you're going to do that when you're in a neutral situation. You're going to hit about 70% of your shots are going to be rally balls that you're going to be hitting. So if you don't practice any ball other than the 10-5-1, practice the 5 foot ball. That is really, really important and going to be super helpful when you get into this match play situations, and being able to not let your opponent take advantage as often if you can keep the ball at a good height and good depth over on the other side of the court. Now, From a 1 foot ball, there are times where you want to hit this, even though it is not necessarily very good margins for you to make it. Obviously, between the 10 foot ball and the 5 foot ball and the 1 foot ball, the 1 foot ball is the hardest to make continuously in a row. But if I am in an offensive position, I'm inside the court, I feel like I'm in control of the point, I feel like I can kind of go after the ball, I feel like I don't need as much margins, I'm catching the ball maybe even a little bit higher, so I don't have to actually lift the ball as much, I can actually hit through the ball more. That's going to be my opportunity to really hit that 1 foot ball. I want the ball to travel over to Kevin as quickly as possible so that I can stay in control of the point and keep him on the defense as much as possible. But the whole goal of this is understanding that when you're in a defensive position, you need that time. You need to be hitting that 10-foot ball. It's really, really important to be able to do that and have that in your tennis toolbox so that you can pull it out when you get off the court or feel like you're in a defensive position pressured backwards or way pushed back by the fence or by the net, that you can be able to throw the 10-foot ball in the air and have yourself all that time to be able to recover. Now, the neutral area, like we talked about, the rally ball situation, when no one really has control. I don't feel like I'm in control of the point. Kevin doesn't feel like he's in control of the point. We're just in a neutral state. We're in a rally state. Then you need to understand how that 5-foot ball can help you to keep the ball deep in the court and still have good margins over the net. And then you also need to be able to hit that 1-foot ball. And that's when you're going to be on the offense, when you're going to be moving forward, you feel like you're in control, you feel like you can take away that time, and you feel like you have the advantage and that you don't need as much margin. You're going to make more errors on the 1-foot ball than you do the 5-foot ball. And you might even make more errors on the 5-foot ball than you do the 10-foot ball. It kind of depends upon your personal preference. There are a lot of people that when we do this drill in clinics that talk about, oh, I found that the 10-foot ball was the easiest, or I found that the 1-foot ball is the easiest. A lot of it is personal preference. But if nothing else, you need to work on the 5-foot ball because that is where you're going to hit about 70% of the balls that you're in that neutral position, and you're going to learn to feel a lot more comfortable when you're in the match play from the baseline area.